Hey guys, welcome back to Games of War. As you can see from the title of the video, strange name, great game. And what I mean by that is titles of games that probably left most gamers scratching their heads saying, geez, what kind of game is this? Title obviously making not much sense, but when they actually play the game, it's actually quite good. So I've got a couple of games I'm going to focus on here. Hope you guys enjoy and thanks for watching. So for today's episode, I have two games we're going to be focusing on. Both have a home on the Sega consoles, one on the Genesis, one on the Sega CD. Now the first one goes way back, a game I played constantly when I was a kid. For the Sega Genesis, we have Hairzoggs, a rather strange name. Now I'll be the first to admit, when I got Hairzoggs as a young kid and I popped it in, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I just wanted to grab the controller, fly around and shoot stuff, and the game was having none of that. It wasn't until my dad came in, saw that I was frustrated, sat down, picked up this. You guys remember these? They used to come in games, instruction manuals, and read that to me, and we both figured it out together. And what followed was one of my favorite games in the system, with some truly epic two-player moments. This game is best played as a two-player game, but still a lot of fun against the computer. Now it is a rare breed of real-time strategy mixed with an action game, very similar to Technosoft's own Thunder Force series for the shooting segments. But with the strategy, it's something that I had never experienced before, and it always holds a special place in your heart when you experience a certain kind of a genre for the first time. Well, this is real-time strategy for me. Now, when the game begins, there's different map types, and these map types lead to all kinds of strategy, whether it be a swamp in the middle of an environment or a volcano, impeding certain ground attacks or air attacks. The environments have to be taken into account for the type of strategy you plan. Now, as you begin, you have a fighter jet that is able to transform into a giant robot. Now, everything consumes fuel, so when you're flying around as a jet, you've got to watch your fuel. When you're walking around as a robot and shooting, you've got to watch your fuel. You're able to recharge this gauge by hovering over your base and refueling. Now, when you bring up your map and menu, you can see that there's bases all over the environment. Your bases are color coded to your color. You know it's your base. The enemy is the opposite color. And when you see white, you know that's neutral. Now on this menu, you're going to see all of your different options that you can choose to purchase and use in combat. Your cash is constantly refilling at a pretty brisk rate. You can purchase tanks, you can purchase boats, anti-aircraft, infantry, and these are all extremely useful and essential for attacking enemy bases and holding down the fort over your base, guarding them. And a lot of strategy is used in which to purchase, when to deploy, when to pull back. Neutral bases are taken over by sending in 4 of your infantry. They're going to run inside, take over the base for you, and that's going to open up a hub of operations to deal with. You have that base acquired, and it's on to the next to take over that next base. All the while, the enemy is going to interfere. They're going to launch aerial attacks. They're going to launch ground attacks. It's up to you to use your jet and defend this. Transform when necessary, go into ground mode, defend on the ground. Proper use of tanks, proper use of infantry. A lot of strategy involved. So much fun. It's simplified by today's standards, but for back then, it was pretty complicated, pretty complex. I hadn't seen anything like it on consoles. And the good thing is it holds up very well to this day. Graphics aren't going to wow you. You're not going to look at this footage and say, oh my god, this looks amazing. But it gets the job done, and it's the gameplay that really shines in this. A lot of fun to play as co-op, and just something that really needs to be experienced for yourself. There's a lot that goes into this game. It's going to take you quite some time to master how everything works, but it's basically you defending your bases, taking over neutral bases, fighting the enemy back, using strategy, using different kinds of tanks, using different kinds of anti-aircraft, soldiers, infantry, to progress and take over the enemy base by base. This is just an awesome game on the Genesis, definitely one of a kind. It's got a strange name, but guys, believe me, Hairzoggs is a great game. Highly recommended on the Genesis. Now next up on the Sega CD, we have Revengers of Vengeance. This is a very strange title for a game. When you think of a name like that, you wouldn't have the damnedest idea of what this is actually about. It just so happens it's a very unique game. I haven't played anything quite like this. It is a fighting game mixed with an RPG. Now there's many options available. You have the tournament, which is basically 1 to 2 players picking from the characters that are available and having a basic fighting game. Nothing special there, pretty standard stuff. There's also a creative fighter mode where you can use stock parts and put together your own fighter. But the real focus of this game is the quest to destroy Venom. Now, Venom is the evil entity that is taking over this world in the game. And you have your choice of a lot of different fighters. They're all pretty unique, and they're all actually pretty cool. I'm quite fond of the art style employed in this game. Now, after you pick your character, you're treated to a distinct opening, really nicely animated on the Sega CD. Everything is bright. There's some pretty cheesy voice acting, and it's all done pretty well for a fighting game setup, giving you a nice story. After that, it takes you into the beginning of the game, which is an RPG-like town that you're put in. Now, in this town, you will notice there are several different shops to go in. You can buy items. There are guilds. There's inns. And one of the first things you want to do is start fighting, and this is how the game plays out. It is a RPG mixed with a fighting game. So your character in the beginning is a level 0. And when you take your first match via the world map, where you have a selection of different fighters you can go to and fight, you are going to get your ass handed to you fast and viciously. You have no chance up against these characters. They're tough. Their attacks take away a substantial amount of your life bar, while your attacks do basically nothing. But, however, after each fight, win or lose, you are awarded experience points. The object is to fight, lose, go back to the town, take that experience points, go to the gym where you can train your character. You can choose between 3-day sessions or 6-day sessions. You can improve things like your fighting skills, your meditation, your magic, your defense. And this is all done by menu selection. You will watch your character train, and your attributes will go up. In addition to raising your stats and attributes via the gym, you're also able to take the experience that you've earned from fights, go to the fortune teller shop, and she will permanently level up your character, which is separate from your attributes, all the while making you stronger. Now, it was about this point, I was about level 4 or 5, when I actually started winning fights, and it was a pretty cool feeling of accomplishment. The fights became more fun. I was able to learn my character's special moves, which all characters have a pretty nice selection of varied special moves. Now, the fighting engine itself isn't going to win any awards. It's a little sloppy and it's a little choppy, but overall, I had a lot of fun with the battle system. The environments themselves, the fighting stages are all pretty varied for the Sega CD. And I think the variety of ways to earn experience really helps add a flavor to the game. Also, in addition to the gym, in addition to the fortune teller leveling up, you can take your money that you've won from fights, you can purchase items that raise your stats in the shop, you can stay at the inn, which allows you to refill your life bar that is down at the bottom of the screen. That's kind of your overall life bar that decreases every time you travel to a new fighter's arena and train. I have to say, one of my favorite ways to earn experience points in this game, and it's totally unexpected, is when you travel to the guild. It's located in the town. You go into the guild and they offer you submissions. Now, for instance, one of them had you tracking down a dragon that had been ravaging a nearby village. Now, this is where the game goes into a totally awesome shoot 'em up. You're using your character and you're dodging bullets and you're shooting enemies, and it's totally an awesome addition to this game. Came out of nowhere. It was a lot of fun. It's very challenging, and the rewards for completing these very difficult stages are immense. You will get a lot of experience and a lot of gold, which is crucial to leveling up your character and purchasing new items. Now, the game plays out in such a way that Venom has 365 days until he is powerful enough to destroy the world. And every time you fight or travel from town to location, days are going to go by. So by the time the 365 days is up, your goal is to have your character powerful, leveled enough, with enough experience to take on Venom and destroy him for good. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed Revengers of Vengeance. It's one of those games that I always saw advertisements in magazines. I wanted it, I was interested in it, but I never found it in stores as a kid and eventually forgot about it. And I'm really happy that I have picked it up recently, last year sometime. I've enjoyed the game thoroughly. It's definitely a strange name for a great game. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the newest episode. As always, if you want, leave a comment. Let me know what games you thought had really strange names but were great. If you want to leave a video response, that's great too. Thank you for watching. Remember that Games of War is nothing without you.